Hello, today we'll be covering the upcoming Tier 9 Premium Pan-European battleship, the Karl XIV Johan. So let's hop right into it. Now, she'll be available by herself for 19,300 doubloons, or as part of a bundle for 33,500 doubloons. That includes a 10-point captain, special camo, exclusive flag, and a various other boosters and credits. As usual, I'll be going over my recommended skills, general stats, and my thoughts on the ship overall. Here's my captain build, be shown on the top right. You guys can pause the video anytime and take a look at it, just to see if you guys like about the build or not. This particular build is just a typical battleship build that focuses on survivability and using brisk, since the ship has an amazing concealment of 10.6 kilometers. It is one of the shortest concealments in the game, alongside the incomparable, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. Karl has 12 305mm guns. They reload relatively fast, but her AFP shells cannot overmatch cruisers, so you do need to take note of that when you do use her. Now, she does get BB accuracy, which the dispersion will be shown on the top right. Her shells feel like they kind of go all over the place, unfortunately. It's not too bad if you're firing HE at BBs, but broadside cruisers can be frustrating at times, as well as turret angles aren't great either, but it's decent enough. It's good enough. The hull is surprisingly not bad for a tier 9 BB. You do get a 72,900 health pool. It is on the lower end for a tier 9 BBs, but it's more than enoughly compensated by her great armor scheme, which will be shown. Karl gets a 35mm lower bow and a 32mm upper bow, which stops shells from overmatching her lower bow armor. Her 150mm upper side armor stops all HE shells at close range, but the 32mm deck is vulnerable at long range. The Citadel is very well protected on this ship, so you will rarely take Citadel hits. Just don't overestimate your durability though. Karl does take a lot of AP damage even when angled, so don't be overly aggressive. Instead, make full use of your 13.5 kilometer torpedoes. You heard me right. It gets 13.5 kilometer torps on a battleship. And those torps go 86 knots, just like the European DDs. They don't get a lot of damage, but no one expects your torpedoes, and you'll get a surprising number of hits. You can use those torpedoes to force enemies to DCP, and you can then light them on fire, or you can light the fires first and then get the torpedoes hit and potentially get floods. But normally, how you want to play this ship, you normally want to use your concealment to your advantage, launch the torpedoes, once they DCP your floods, and then you go and get the fires. Unfortunately, the torpedoes won't last long due to the fact that the torpedoes are kind of in a vulnerable spot in the rear of the ship, and they don't have a lot of HP pool in the modules. So make the most for the fun memes for the short time you do get to use them. The maneuverability is nothing special. It's about average what you expect from a tier 9 BB. So it's about average. It's not super maneuverable, but it's decent enough for the tier 9 BB. Now, Karl does get, as I was saying earlier, the 10.6 kilometers concealment, which benefits the Torps perfectly. This great concealment is one of the best concealments in the game, alongside the incomparable, which is now comparable. Hehe. It is great to have being able to go dark and torping the enemies or sneak up on some unexpected DDs, which you'll be seeing me do later on in this match. With how the meta is going, having a BB with a good concealment is a really nice change. Karl, with her 10-kilometer airstrike depth charges, are normal for her tier, so we really don't need to talk about them too much. You do get 2 charges, and they both come with 2 depth charges each. But what is special is her anti-air, specifically her amazing mid-range DPM. She may not have DFAA, but that 664 mid-range continuous anti-air damage is just nasty. Since she is a pan-European battleship, it is very nice to see that they are bringing in the benefits from the DD line over. So the great anti-air and the really quick torpedoes. It's kind of nice how they're bringing a battleship with those same kind of benefits. So I do like it when the developers have like a ship that kind of matches the lines that are already in the game, so kind of a pattern. So I'm pretty happy with how they did that. It makes me I'm very pleased with that for sure. Now, don't get me wrong though, good CVs will have no issue getting strikes through, but it can definitely take a whole toll on their reserves and also on careless CVs. Her 5-kilometer hydro is also quite useful at dodging torps and for the occasional close range brawl. It's not as good as German BBs, but it gives enough warning to dodge torpedoes. Overall, I find the Karl to be a weird BB, kind of like a Brandenburg, but with Ostergotland torps. So if you played Brandenburg before, you can kind of know what I'm talking about. She's definitely great for close, mid-range kiting, maybe around the 12 through 15 to 15 kilometer range. You can get a little bit closer because of the really good concealment, but it definitely suffers at long range due to the mediocre accuracy and shell performance. You can get close to torp other ships, but those torpedo tubes die quickly, so be careful when charging. Using AP and HE in the right situations is important for her. AP is great at punishing broadside ships, but it can't overmatch cruisers if they're sitting bow wind or the aft. Certain ones will have too much armor, like over 25 millimeters, and you won't be able to go through the bow of the aft. Now the HE is good for dealing with angled BBs, but doesn't deal as much damage as cruisers. In fact, the Karl can be thought as a big kiting cruiser, probably closer to a Yoshino in playstyle. You want to kite away and wear the enemy down with guns and torpedoes. When they're weakened, push back in with guns and torps and finish them off, and use hydro to protect yourself against torpedo DDs and submarines. Now, the Karl may be an unusual BB, but I find her to be around average to above average for performance. The lack of AP overmatch hurts against cruisers, but her decent HE and respectable armor can make up for it. And you can still punish broadside ships with AP. So if you're looking for an EU captain retrainer or a weird or mysterious battleship, then the Karl is definitely a good choice for sure. Now, if you guys are interested in the Karl, you can get her later on this week. The ship, well, the NDA did drop today on the 11th of September. So it should be coming out later this week. So you guys to be able to get her if you are interested. Again, you can get the ship for yourself for 19,300 doubloons, or as part of a bundle for 33,500 doubloons. That includes a 10-point captain, special camo, exclusive flag, and various boosters and credits. Now, again, as a tier 9 premium ship, you do get the benefits of having the enhanced credit earning, the enhanced XP earning, which also gives the better commander XP and better free XP. So it's a really nice crew trainer for the Pan-Europeans if you are interested in getting a crew trainer for them. Because since it's a BB and not a DD, you can just stick your DD onto the BB and just play only the BB for the commander, and you can switch it easily back and forth just super easily. You don't have to keep retraining it over and over again since it is a premium ship. So I would say if you're wanting to have a nice crew trainer for the Pan-European or in the future, because in the future they'll most likely have some kind of BB line for the Pan-Europeans one day. Hopefully they will. You'll already have a BB there, and there you go. That's pretty simple at that point. So yeah, that's pretty nice, pretty nice. One thing I do like about this ship the most is just the concealment. I can't speak enough about how good the concealment is. It has a really strong concealment with its 10.6 kilometers, which goes really well with its torpedo armament. So pretty much, right, if you're on a flank hiding, you have a 10.6 kilometer concealment, which is really good to be able to stay dark and just keep launching your torpedoes over and over and over again, because you do get 16 torpedoes. You get 8 per side, and the EUDD, so they're really quick, so you're more likely to be able to hit them. They just don't have a lot of damage though, so you definitely have to take note of that. But again, I do find this ship fun to play. Not everyone's gonna like the 308 millimeter guns, since they're not the most accurate. You do have to be, you can't just open fire all the time. You gotta be more selective on your engagements. But it does have a lot of good armor on the ship as well. So at first, when I was thinking, I didn't think it was gonna be super high. That I had like a few good missions, like, oh, it's actually not bad. I'm actually kind of liking it. I enjoy it. I didn't feel it too bad. I was like, it's all right. It's all right for sure. And I think for 19,000 doubloons, it's okay. You can use your coupon whenever it goes in the armory to be able to make the price cheaper. So definitely you can do it as well. If you don't want to spend the 19,300, you just wait to use your coupon and do it that way. Because again, I don't really think the bundle is worth it. I'm more of a fan of just being able to buy the ship outright. So that's one way I would suggest it. Well, also, if you guys didn't know, I'm curious what you guys think. Have you guys, I don't know if you guys have known or seen, have you guys seen that they're adding the Smolensk B to the game with the upcoming Black Friday event? They'll be introducing the Smolensk B and also the Black B. So we were memeing about this a few years ago that we all thought it was funny about a year ago. We were joking, like, what if they ever added a Black Friday ship that was like the black DD? Because it'd be kind of funny, like having the Black B. And they did it. They actually did it. So props to them on that one, because I never thought they would. It's just the funniest thing ever. The meme itself is just hilarious. It's gonna be really funny seeing a lot of them running around. Now, the reason why I bring up the Smolensk B coming out is because if anyone's been around long enough, you remember when the Smolensk first got introduced into the game, right? And pretty much when the Smolensk was first introduced to the game, it changed a lot of the meta around. The Smolensk and the Thunderer did a lot of, like, pretty much single-handedly changed randoms, made it a lot more passive when they were around, just due to the sheer amount of HE firepower those ships have. So I'm guessing when the Smolensk B comes back, a lot of the old Smolensk players will probably start playing their Smolensk again, and we'll have another Smolensk apocalypse. So we'll definitely be having some interesting times coming up ahead. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for that for sure. If you guys don't know, Smolensk and Thunder are like some of my most hated ships. So that's kind of why I'm like, kind of suffering just thinking about them being put back in the game. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun time for sure. But anyway, no, this match was a pretty decent match. I did get killed though by the Lex there, just barely. It was very disappointing in the end. I don't know, my disappointment was immeasurable due to that. The most disappointing thing of all time. Super disappointing. So talking about the play styles of this particular BB, I would say you would want to play it really stealthy, more stealthy of a play style. You don't want to be open water all the time. You want to use your concealment more. You want to try using your torpedoes to get your torpedoes off if people are pushing you. But you are also able to kind of do a mid-range HE farming. You just have to be kind of careful of how your engagement's going, but a lot of the time, if you just play your cards right and you are supporting your DD, you kind of play like a more of a cruiser role, where you're supporting the DD, going along with them a certain distance back though, so that the DD will get spotted first, and then you'll get spotted, so that you can then start farming start just knocking out the DD early. Then you'll do really good gameplay with this particular ship. But again, you have to play the situations really like more on the per situational awareness, because of course if there's a CV, you can't be pushing up as much as you see me doing right now in this particular match. If there was a CV, I would not be in this position, because it's a super aggressive position and you have to be a little bit more careful when you have a C, because they can spot you, perma spot you, you'll be suffering, not the funnest of times. You definitely have to be careful in that regard. But yeah, again, the dispersion's definitely not the best on this ship. It's at long distance. It's more of a mid-range battleship. It's not meant to be long, it's meant to be more mid-range, close-range battleship. But it's definitely really tanky. This ship is insanely tanky. Except unless you're just sitting broadside taking a ton of AP salvos, then yeah, of course you're going to be suffering. That's pretty obvious. But yeah, the ship does go pretty quick though. It has, when you have brisk, it goes like 30, like 35, like 35, like I think like 37 knots, I think. It does go really quick with brisk, which is really nice. Yeah, this poor DD, this poor fella. This is an example of the DD being too aggressive. Once he saw like the cruiser that was right next to me right there, he should have instantly turned out and not have been in that situation. That was definitely a disaster on his part. Because earlier on, if you guys saw, my DD put down a smoke screen for the cruiser. And if in any DD player, when you see a smoke screen going out like that, you need to be extremely careful, because 9 out of 10 times there is going to be some kind of cruiser or battleship or something in that smoke screen, and you don't want nothing to do with it. You want to be far away from it, because if you get perma radared and you're being run down by the cruiser and the DD that are right there, you're definitely lose a lot of HP or potentially die, which is not fun at all. You're gonna probably most likely lose credits in the match, not get that much basics, not get anything. It's just pure suffering. So biggest disaster of all time. Now this match is not as exciting as the previous match. The previous match was way more exciting to watch. This one was just more so I had some time to give extra commentary on things, talk about a little bit more, throw some playstyle ideas for you guys. So if you guys like this review or you guys enjoy this kind of thing, let me know in the comments. I do appreciate that very much. I kind of like the Karl, like I know not everyone's be like, oh, it doesn't have the big guns of a BB. They like that brick smash kind of feel. I generally really like concealment on BBs is really nice, especially with how the meta is just pure suffering right now, with a lot of like how BBs, like when you play solo, a lot of the time it's like pure suffering due to that. When you play solo, you have to rely way more on your Ds, you have to way more on your cruisers. But if you have a div, of course you can, have a div mate, so it's a lot easier to play BBs and divs. But this particular BB, playing it solo, it was a lot easier to disengage or move around without being spotted due to the great concealment, which makes it where if you're more of a solo player, this BB could be really nice for you if you're looking for like a potential credit farmer for tier 9. I think this should be a nice credit farmer for tier 9 due to those simple facts. Now again, of course, my normal credit farmer suggestions is always the tier 8 cruisers, particularly for operations, since operations is one of the most steady and consistent ways to farm credits. So like the mines or the bear, the toggle, always good choices in that particular for those instances. But if you're looking for a tier 9 battleship, or if you're trying to get for doubloons, you can get the Karl, or if you want to use Cole, there's a lot of other options for Cole as well. You guys can use, like, you can get the Palmer and Kearsarge. What other ones are there? The Verde. I'm not as big a fan of a Verde over the Kearsarge and Palmer, but Verde can still be fun, of course, for sure. But if you're looking for like a doubloon option or one you just want to buy, I think the Karl is definitely an interesting play style. It's definitely different compared to a lot of the standard battleships. So it's definitely a lot more of a diverse play style. It's not like the regular typical BB. So if you're looking for a more unique play style, I think the Verde would be nice. Not the Verde, the Karl's definitely in it for that for sure. But yeah, again though, like I was saying, this person is definitely not the best at ranging. You can definitely see that with this engagement of the gear. I definitely had trouble hitting them from this really far distance, for sure. I still love the fact that I like it when the devs keep certain gimmicks on certain nations. So we know that the pan-European DDs have really great anti-air, and they also have really quick torpedoes. They have the quickest torpedoes in the game, right? So for them to be able to implement that into a tier for this battleship here and still keeping those character traits are really, really nice. I really, really like that. And I think it's really cool when the devs can do that. They don't have to take the gimmicks from a different line or from a different nation or something like, so not a different line, from a different nation, I mean. It's really nice when they're able to actually do that. I enjoy that a lot when the game does that. Because as you can saw, there's like, you know, there's a lot of different ships, right? So SAP used to be only Italian, right? But then they added the Austin for the Americans, which has it. Then the San Diego. I'm trying to figure if there's any other Italian. Oh yeah, the Sherman. So America now has SAP. I'm trying to think if there's any other SAP using ships besides those. No, I think the Americans and the Italians are the ones with SAP. But there's like some gimmicks here and there that are from different nations going into like different areas. Like the Pan Americans have the Pan Americans have the improved pen angles of like the Americans, but it doesn't have the short fuse of like because if the Pan American cruisers had both the improved pen and the short fuse, I think they'd be way too powerful already, because that zombie heal on the Pan American is just insane. The like on the gosh dang it, I can't think of I can't think of like the ship line name. Dang it, that sucks. I can't think of it for some reason. That's weird. For some reason I can't think of the line name, so rip in that regard. But yeah, if you guys have any overall questions or concerns, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what you guys think of this review and of the upcoming Black Friday ships. But yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you all for watching. If you guys haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Greatly appreciate it. I also stream on Twitch daily. Have pretty much every social media now at this point, so definitely check them out, and I will see you guys all around.